So my question is specific around inherited IRAs. So a little bit of context. I am 61, about to be 62. I have a desire to retire at the end of this year. And I've got an inherited IRA that I received 4 years ago. I started the RMDs 4 years ago. I've been taking a minimal amount out because I'm still working with my income, and I am. There's a number of questions all built into this. So if I am to retire in December, I've got roughly 3 years of runway time to get to 65. And I have a chunk of cash that I have set aside that can take care of my spending, which would be about 12 grand a month over a 4 year period. My goal is to get there to 65 with that. But as I began to think through this, does it make sense? And there's a lot of things that are spinning here. So do I push out the RMDs until the end of the year because I'm going to get hit with IRMA charges? Do I think about a Roth conversion and again, push out the RMD as opposed to doing them now? I can't, and these are large RMDs, so I can't take advantage of ACA. Should I push it out because of, the ability to get into HSA or ACA? Do I optimize taxes? On and on. There's a lot of things that are spinning, and I've had a really difficult time. So I've used Income Lab, Right Capital, Bolden. I have been unable to model this effectively to better understand. So goal is to not touch anything in my portfolio until at least 65, if not more. So that's Social Security, that's my existing portfolio, et cetera. So if you need more context, questions, but that
I'd like to ask a couple questions. Yes, that was a lot to hold at once, but I think I have the rough gist. Let me see if I can repeat it back. And then I'd like to ask one or two follow-up questions. So if I'm not mistaken, you're 61 or very close to 62, or maybe just turned 62?
61. Yeah, I'm 61, will be 62 in April. So I would just turned 61, but looking to retire at the end of the year in December.
Okay. We have a case that I've worked on that is pretty similar to this, actually. They're a little younger, but very similar kind of layout, like inherited IRA, subject to the 10-year rule, have all these other concerns, including like if retiring early, how do they handle health insurance? How do they handle Roth conversions? They have a substantial additional pre-tax balance. And so I don't know some of that detail exactly for your specific case, but that's okay. We don't need to get like every number. Just give me a sense. How big is the inherited IRA? Just curious.
1.8 million.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's part of the challenge. I mean, I less have this, but there are some challenges that go along with that because of the things that I just talked about. If I continue on, which part of the reason why I had thought about, hey, retire at the end of the year, because now I can double, triple, quadruple the size of the RMDs.
Yeah.
My current income is large, so taking my RMDs is minimal because I'm trying to stay in a 24% tax bracket as opposed to bumping up. So if that's possible, but I can bump up the RMDs much larger once I retire because I won't have any income. So do I live on that? Do I keep the cash that I have, et cetera?
Yeah. So
I have a large portfolio in addition to the inherited IRA.
How large is your outside of the inherited IRA pre-tax balance, just roughly?
About 1.9, 1.8.
And the inherited IRA was the decadent. Did they already have RMDs in play, or were they not already taking RMDs?
They had started RMDs. Came from my father. He was 87 at the time when he passed.
Okay. Okay. So you're okay. Yeah, you're in a tricky position. I'm not actually sure there's going to be that much you could do. I'd have to sit. This is like a case I don't think I would be able to like wing off the cuff, but I think. Well, actually, let me ask you back. What would be your optimal outcome that you would like to see if it's even possible? Maybe we start with just saying like, what directionally would you like to try to achieve? Or are you feeling like I actually just don't even have a sense of what's possible, so it's hard to actually consider that?
Achieve in what sense?
Meaning like, how do I say? Like, are you trying to think about one specific like thing you should try to prioritize or not? Like, how should I handle Roth conversions given this issue, or more broadly, like total retirement? Like, what's the optimal way to handle the inherited IRA given all these other considerations? Hopefully that was clarifying. I don't even know if it was.
It was. I would probably lean towards the latter. I'm looking to optimize partly because of taxes for a number of different things, but the IRA one, certainly there's going to be a tax implication and will be until this is depleted. But
Yeah.
maybe that makes sense if do I wait and do Roth conversions now because I will not have that cash, or I have looked at other options from the medical piece. I can't take advantage of ACA because of the number. So do
Yeah.
I, move out the RMDs for a few years? How do I
So
optimize?
if I may ask as well, you mentioned this twice now. Why are you thinking to use the cash for the first few years?
Well, primarily because mentally that's what I had been thinking, and certainly prior to the IRA, I had been planning this for a while in terms of the cash buildup, and think of it as buckets. So
Yeah. Yep.
lately, and actually partly why that drove my question is maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe I take that, $500,000 that I've got and do something else with that. I mean, it's liquid cash, but the initial thought was my goal was and still is to not touch my portfolio for another 3 or 4 years. Meaning I've got this cash that I've set aside. I'll live on that until I am ready to, pull from the portfolio and Social Security. But as I began to think through that, maybe I don't do that. Maybe I take that cash, move it somewhere else. I've got RMDs that are coming in. That's more than adequate. I can take a piece of that out, take the rest of it, put it into an investment. It's
Yeah.
a lot spinning.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of details here, and it would warrant a little more attention. But I think there are interesting things to probe here. So one is, and I'm just putting this as like a placeholder to put a pin in it to the side for a minute, which is the mental commitment to using the cash or not initially. I think there's a discussion to be had there. There's a second element which I haven't asked. Are you married? Do you have a spouse?
I do.
And how much older or younger than you are they, roughly, just by number of age?
She's 3 years younger.
Okay. All right. Part of why I asked that is because, and I made a video about this recently, I think. By the way, wait, real quickly, must plug. We made this extra Eric Clips channel. I actually answered a question very similar to yours without the individual case details. That is basically about the trade-off of Roth conversions versus other optimizations. And I think it might be worth a watch. It's on the extra Eric Clips channel that just got published last week. So maybe there's a stop in for that. But the reason I asked about the spousal age is because the widow's tax trap, so to speak, is probably the primary reason in my experience to prioritize Roth conversions over other things. And if you have a 3-year age gap, that's not like super substantial, but it might be a reason to explore. But anyway, so I guess as I synthesize your entire what I know about you so far, you have a large pre-tax balance separate from the inherited IRA. You also have a large inherited IRA. You have 3 years until Medicare age, and you're going to get hit by pre-tax withdrawals no matter what you do. You're going to have to draw down $1.8 million of pre-tax money in some form over the next 10 years or so, 9 years, 8 years, whatever it is that's remaining.
Six remains.
6. Okay,
Yeah.
so you either have really some, if you just prorate it out over the next 6 years, you're talking about, what is that, 180K a year roughly, a little less than 165K a year. And if you do a big lump at some point, or you just take the minimum RMD and then do the rest as a bigger lump or whatever, withdraw above it is a different story, but you're going to get hit with that. I think probably, without being able to give you a direct answer, because your case has a lot of moving parts and we want to explore like the age gap and your health and all these other things. And there's probably again, this is education, not advice, is probably worthwhile looking at potentially maybe eating IRMA surcharges for a time and doing some more substantial pre-tax withdrawals to kind of do a tax basis reset in years where you can control it, because IRMA is not permanent. So you can always recalibrate your IRMA surcharge, and it might be worth eating that cost for a year or 2 or 3 in order to like flush through some of this. Real quick, let me show you the exact 3-pillar comprehensive retirement roadmap that takes retirees from uncertainty to peace of mind that less than 1% of retirees actually have in place. Now, I've built hundreds of these for retirees, and I can say with a high degree of confidence that these are the 3 pillars every retiree needs to have in place in order to have full confidence that they're not missing anything in their retirement plan. And I broke each of these down by the specific questions. You can see them here that each needs to be answered and the best way to answer them. Now, we've done this across pre-retirees, recent retirees, married couples, single retirees, $1 million portfolios, $10 million portfolios, all the above, and it works. And it's my gift to you today. It's absolutely free. It's in the first link in the description below this video. It's going to say free comprehensive retirement roadmap training. Just click the link, enter your info, and you'll get instant access all for free.